Welcome to drupa Düsseldorf.
Hi, I'm Carrie Sherburne, Senior Editor at WhatTheyThink.com, and I'm here with ATributes, CEO of ATributes from the UK. Welcome.
Thank you very much indeed, Kev.
So
nice to be over
we're
here.
Coming up to drupa 2012. I'm not even really ready to think about it yet, but here it is, you know.
I've had my room booked since last time. It's all ready.
That's terrific. And maybe you could talk, you know, as an industry expert, you know, you follow the industry and all of the, well, not all the vendors, but probably 80% of them. And maybe you could talk a little bit about why you think drupa is important from an exhibitor perspective as well as from an attendee perspective.
Okay. If we look at it, first of all, from the exhibitor perspective, drupa is essentially the one location that exhibitors want to show their very best, very latest products. So it is the one place you can guarantee seeing anything that is new, going to change things, etc. It is that significant. So all the trends that we see tend to be exemplified at drupa, which you don't see at smaller shows. It's a 14-day show, so you know people can have the time for setup and for getting a really established procedure there. And it's where we expect to see an awful lot. And just take one area, that the key level of interest for lots of people still is digital printing and this whole thing about high-speed continuous inkjet. And that's been around for some time. But it will certainly be, once again, the inkjet drupa, because it's not just the existing suppliers we see, but we're going to see a whole raft of new players coming in. And these are the offset vendors who are now seeing the opportunities to come into this. So you're going to see people like Man Roland, but one that really interests me particularly is KBA. I think KBA is going to be fascinating to see. But you're also seeing things that have just been announced. For example, the UK book printing supplier Timpson has just announced it's going to have its own digital press. TPS from Japan is going to have its own digital press. All sorts of people are coming into this market. And all we've got to find now is some applications and some customers who are prepared to pay the level of money they're talking about, which is going to be the problem. So it's that sort of area is the key thing. And so, but the key thing otherwise is going to be showing the principal trend in the industry of actually how we work together with the internet and how we make the internet part of the whole business model. And that, I think, is the two trends that are going to be really there. One is really the high-speed inkjet moving on, and the second one is how we rebuild our whole businesses to build the internet as a core part of the business and becoming, to use this wonderful buzzword, multimedia or multi-channel, whatever, communication suppliers, etc. And it's where you'll really see this. And if you're not in that sort of area of business, you won't be in business at all if you don't adopt that sort of structure. So that's the key thing in terms of why it's important for vendors.
And so you expect to see, obviously, lots of new developments in inkjet. I mean, Delphax is another one. I mean, they're not offset, but you know they've made the announcement about Memjet.
So it's that. So it's not just that. It's Delphax with Memjet, and there may be some other ones with Memjet. I've just been looking at some Memjet stuff on the floor here. But it's all sorts of things. For example, everyone seems to be writing on offset. But offset's phenomenal. Some of the stuff you're going to see out of the offset suppliers is going to blow your mind in terms of the increased automation, etc., and how they're becoming more and more efficient. Offset is not given up. You know, it's offset and digital together, and it's that sort of structure is going to be key. In terms of the electrophotographic printing, that's not stopping, but those are very high up their development path. Offset is right at the top of a plateau. It's just improving efficiency and making it more automated. It's getting to that stage as well with the electrophotographic toner-based presses. The inkjet is still on a very, very sharp development cycle.
And then in terms of all the front-end stuff,
the front ends are all moving to integrate into the internet. Another big word they're going to see there is cloud. It's going to be the cloud drupa in a sense. That's going to be another key thing there.
There we go. That's more challenging than the cloud drupa. I love it.
It's those sort of things. And then you say, why is it important for the users? Well, it's important for the users because you'll see how your future is going to evolve. If you don't actually see this and get involved with it, you won't really know how to direct your company, where your investment should be, how you should be changing your business models and all this sort of thing, because the whole thing if you look at the successful printers over the last 10 years, they've all fundamentally changed their business models.
Yeah.
And it's a constantly changing thing. And if you don't keep up to date with the trends, and you don't go to the shows, and you don't see what's happening, then you won't grow in the way and become more profitable. And so it doesn't matter, this is not a European show, this is a worldwide international show. You'll find a huge number of people come from Australia, a lot of people from China, a lot of people from India, a lot of people from South America, more and more people from the USA. The USA used to be just the vendors and a few bigger printers. Now we're seeing much more importance. I think mainly because of scaling down on other shows. For example, I'm nothing against Graph Expo. Graph Expo, though, is a relatively small show. Print is a bigger show, but print is not anywhere near the same sort of scale as some of the other international shows. You know, soon we may not be saying that drupa is the one to go to. We may be saying all in print China is going to be the big one eventually, because that's a huge
China
show.
Print and print
China print, all these sort of things. You know, that's a key one. But if you're a printer who's looking as to where to take your business, where the future is going to be, what you should be investing in to change your business to maintain and build profitability, you have to go. You can't just go for a day. You've got to go for a minimum of 3 days with a pretty sure idea of what you've got to look at. And if you can take more than one person, so much the better.
Yeah, because drupa, the website, has lots of tools to help you pre-plan your visit.
Does. Yeah, it's, you know, and I have to say the drupa organizers are superb. They really do put the whole thing together extremely well. If you're an analyst or if the press, it's fantastic. You know, the support you get is quite amazing. You get pretty tired, I must admit.
You've been to a few.
I've been to not quite as many as Frank, but one less. But I've been to more IPEXs than him, etc. But I've been to lots. It's been fascinating being involved on a day-to-day basis with all the fundamental changes, and it's still happening. You know, we're seeing different changes now. The implication of what the internet has done to force phenomenal change on this, you know, and that's continuing. And the big thing we've got as printers, you know, and perhaps I shouldn't be a printer anymore. I should be a communications supplier. But if basically you consider yourself a printer, we've got to rethink how we make print still a very important aspect of the communications market. And there's a huge amount of education on that, and that's why I think what we're doing is good in what we think, because we're doing that educational side. But we need to extend, and one of the things I think that is important, and I think that's interesting at drupa, is they've been developing a thing called the Drupa Innovation Park for a number of years.
And Drupa Cube.
And Drupa Cube. And I think what they're going to be doing this year is making that almost like a mini show. And I've suggested to the drupa organizers they should actually offer the ability for people from the advertising industries and the internet industries and these sort of things to basically be able to come just to that part of the show, just to see what multi-channel communications is about. And if they then want to go and see what putting marks on paper is about as part of that, then go into the rest of the show. But to actually operate that as a specific multi-channel communications environment, whether they will do that, I don't know, but I think it's a great opportunity for non-printers, people in the communications industry who want to see how communications and cross-media and everything else is going to work in the future. That's a place I think you're going to see some fantastic things, and that's a key thing I think people need to think about.
Great, well thank you.
Benefit from change and true practices.